Okay, so yesterday, just now, just reviewed what we talked about yesterday. BGP neighbor relationship. How is it built like this? The building is gone on this side, there is no B here. The relationship of GP is this is how we build our same one. The equipment in this area line RR builds neighbors with this, establishing neighbors with inline RR devices in one area, and then? Who is this inline RR built with? Where is the neighbor? With our core here. Establish adjacency with this RR inside, build the RR inside the core. The neighbor is good to have it built like this, neighbor. In the future, they will be able to interact with each other. Learned about routing yesterday. Let's take a look at this BGP. The configuration has been completed, right B? The GP configuration has been completed and delivered. After finishing, I found this road. What is the reason for the problem? That's to say, it's about its routing. For example, this is its loopback 0 past this route to 77 reflecting on P1. The next hop given to RR is what's next hop still 5, but this is because 5 is the P. The loopback interface of 5 is 7. Only available at AG inside G1, there is inside core. There is no such thing as this AG-G2, there is nothing inside, so. The next hop is unreachable. X2 encountered a routing anti. This part on the shooter is non-functional. You can take a look at this to see if it's okay. Some of these routes are learned. It has arrived, but the next hop is still uncertain. They are unreachable. If we want to achieve it, we must make changes. The next hop is on the RR. Whose routing is on the RR? Yes, that's the part of the route. So all you need to do is to take the next step, switch to using P1 for this device. Just change it to P1. Just need the equipment, right? Then how? Change it to P1 next hop self, but next hop self is for iBGP neighbors. The route set by the user has no effect, so you have to knock on it. Enter a command and then hit enter next hop self, right? So that's to say, it's in for change on device P4. They want to modify me on the P device today. I just knocked again. If you knock, I'll just change it casually. Just take a look, it doesn't really matter. As for the head, I will provide a label. The configuration was accurate yesterday. When it was matched, it was with a neighbor next, type remote is followed by update. Source address family labeled Unicast, right, knock these. We will go there today. I use this neighbor group. There are actually 2 methods to knock. They are all the same, nothing too big, there isn't a big difference. Not all can be knocked like this. Above that, we have 4 go knock on the door on the top. For example, first configure a BGP iBGP session. OK, then it's this command iBGP. Policy out enforce modify. Type this command first and hit enter after this command. It will lead us to this, is ours. I'm using it under the neighbor group now. If it's the neighbor group, then you go to NE, just go knock under the ver group neighbor group address family IPv4 labeled unicast. Next up, self address family IPv6 labeled unicast. Next up, self needs another neighbor group, what is called service in neighbor group service. And then what's next? Of address family IPv4 labeled unicast. Any xt of self address family IPv6 labeled unicast. Next hop self. I will do it later. See which way is the simplest. In what way is the configuration done in NE. Below the IBR group. Put these several. Just add the command for due to individual reasons. 4 of them. There are 4 P devices inline basically. Back up their configuration. The above is the same. So you could say copy to another device, just paste it on the top. Next hop self is not only should we this RR still needs to be checked by us. Is this RRC the right one to knock on? Why do we need to knock on our RRC? When you send it to RR, set the next hop of RR to P1. With that being said, he can do so. He is sending this, to pursue excellence. When P2, the next hop is still P2. The next hop is still his because he is in all devices within the same area. The loopback 0 of the backup is therefore, it can be said that this is nothing. Then it will be sent by P2 when giving the ASPR, that is, his. When configuring RRC, you also need to type NE. XT hop self means on his device. You need to let him learn these next hop routes. What is the next hop of P2 to P? That's right. So in this situation, say next hop self, not only do we need to go to our RR, we also need to knock on our RRC. Can you understand this part by knocking on it? Understandable. Knock twice for this segment. Can you understand? If you can, please respond. 2 OK after typing. Let's see the effect after knocking. Take a look at the effect after you type these commands, then we can also execute the command we just mentioned. Please review the configuration show command again. MIT change last one, so I created it 2 of this neighbor group. One of them is about RRC actually. I think it's about the service RR. Let's build one that may be better. Let's build a simpler one then. In your address family IPv4, labeled, untype, next, below Icast, hop self, next hop, self, right, and then over here you can type route reflect CL. Just build one INT. Mine is this one. I want to differentiate this. What we actually want to distinguish is to establish AI build 2. For the purpose I want to distinguish between these 2 by myself service RR. These 2 are my own RRC. So I have built 2C, but actually build 1 is fine to build 1. Their things are not the same. How about our service RR? Need to type, next hop self, route reflect client. Just need to do it on your own client. Knock this route reflect CL INT's opposite. That is to say, only need ping these 2 devices xt hop self route ref the lect client towards our RR. There is no need to type this route. This reflect client. The correct command is next hop self needs to be configured. Can you understand this now or not? Understand clearly so that changes can be made when necessary. Make some changes and see which one works a bit better. The words below us. Take a look at the routing and then look at the routing again. The routing should be optimal. Now the route on R can be the most optimized in our ROS device. If you look above at the label on ICAST labels, through this use the command to view the tags. Use this command to check. Upon checking the label, we found that this is the out label for this. What is this in label? In label represents self-assigned. Able's representative is currently assigned by someone else. In R, there is no in for the label. When will the label include in? The label determines your next hop. Once the label is assigned, you are included. However, you are not assigned or tagged at the moment. Signing a contract does not involve you. The next hop is unrelated to you. Let's move on to the other devices on the no L side, Able. To our inline RR device, go to check show IPBGP labeled on ICAST labels. Remember it is X2 that it wants when showing. Remember to sell this labeled item. Unicast labels return if the car turns back. Then you can see both the ingress and egress have local separation matching tags and receive the labels are all displayed here. It's right, all showing 3. It's oneself, so that's why. The side is no label others at this time. Words are all labeled. You can go for testing, or you can go for pinging. Go to test, go to ping, for example, 1. 0, what is this 100? 7, bring sorry and bring a ring. Loopback 0 should be configured as a loopback interface. Loopback 0 is down because we did not interconnect the chain. The road announces the entrance, right? Just loopback 0, then trace 1. 0. 7 show, labeled, along the way. You will see that means along the tags the LSBs of the route are all okay. Just randomly trace any of them. All devices will have labels. If there are labels like this, you will act accordingly. Realized in the entire domain what has been achieved within the domain. It illustrates what we're talking about in plain terms. End-to-end LSP, or called the Unified NPS Statistics. 1's NPS does this interaction. This is R1. 2. This is requirement 1. 2. After this requirement is completed to achieve all the effects traced between devices when it comes to word, it is always along the way. LSPs are all labeled. Can you understand now? Can you understand? Feel free to ask if you have any questions. Okay, in that case, we won. Part 2 of this is done. 2. This part is done.